Hi everyone, and thank you for joining me on the Radical series. Today we're going to discuss a very interesting thing of how we mirror each other and how we discover ourselves through this process of mirroring. Now, a lot of us get triggered by our close relationships, and that could be at home, it could be in a social circle of very close friends, it could be any other area of your life. And some people really trigger you, and so you don't like their behavior, you don't like their attributes, you don't feel good when you're with them, you feel irritated, frustrated. Very common. And then what is your immediate response? You want to obviously blame them for irritating you and frustrating you and annoying you. And then the next step is to think of changing the relationship and going to newer relationships, thinking that you might get relief. But some of you already tried doing that, have realized that that is not the solution. And this can never be the solution. Because there is something that we all need to understand today, which is very, very essential for us, and that will somewhere help us, giving us a perspective about others in our space. And that is that people in our environment are our projections. They are our manifestation or our need to experience certain things. So you have this glass mirror. So the glass mirror is reflecting your outer appearance, and the human mirror is reflecting your subconscious mind. All that is there in your subconscious mind gets reflected. So when people really trigger you in your space, observe those people, observe their responses, observe their pretense, their struggles, and you will be surprised to know that that is how you will be able to really know so many things about you. It's like you will discover yourself actually through that process. Like, I'll give you an example. In my team, I've shared this earlier, there was this person who was a very important part of the team, used to irritate me and frustrate me because of his non integrity. And I did everything I could, spoke, strategized, did everything, but it never kind of worked. And I used to wonder why. And obviously, it was, I used to blame him. Till I realized this whole concept that a person who's triggering me so much is somewhere showing me an aspect that I have not maybe realized, and that is not healed in me, or that is an aspect of my life that I'm totally unaware about. And very surprisingly, when I worked to see this whole situation, I realized that actually I was also not in integrity with my life plan. And when I resolved it, that guy actually went back into being in integrity. It was so surprising that I was actually discovering myself through his triggering me. So, this is the real truth. People in your space, especially the ones who are troubling you or irritating you, are actually reflecting a part of you that you are not okay with. I'll give another very common example. So, a lot of people have this thing with their friends that they feel that their friends are very jealous of them, and they feel that, I don't know why they've not done anything, but still people and friends are envious and they compare themselves, and a lot of people wonder why. But if you deeply look within, you will realize that somewhere, maybe not currently, but at some given point, you had that part of you which was jealous. Or you maybe have compared yourself when you were growing up with your siblings, you compared yourself to your friends who did better, who looked prettier, whatever. So they are just somewhere showing you your mirror. It's like sometimes you meet people and you feel sad. It's not because of anything, but they trigger that sadness within you. Or people who have conspired earlier and then they feel guilt of conspiring. You'll be surprised, they'll always attract and invite people who are like that, and they'll always sense conspiracy in their space. So, if you are feeling that people are competing with you a lot, what are you going to do? Are you going to change those people? Are you going to run away? Because you're not really running away from them. You are running away from yourself, the part of you which actually has got into the competition game. So the universe has a very interesting way of teaching us and telling this, helping you discover yourself if you've not been able to discover yourself through self introspection. So your very close relationships are actually chosen to reflect you and to introduce you to yourself. And you learn actually through other people by observing them about yourself. And that is what I'm going to teach you, that we don't need to do that anymore. Because the more you want to learn about yourself through other people, you're creating more of emotional drama. It's better to learn about yourself so that you don't need that kind of triggering in your outer environment. And then just be who you are and be comfortable and in acceptance of who you are. Now, this was one side where people were mirroring you. Now, the another interesting thing is that the reverse is also true, but obvious. And how is the reverse true? So, think about it. Sometimes, in some people's spaces, you completely behave differently, or you get perceived absolutely differently, like from something that you feel you're not. You know why that happens? Somewhere you start being your unnatural self just to comply to people's need of seeing their reflection of who they truly are through you. So you need to step back and start seeing that if you are behaving or doing things in a way that is not somewhere truly you, and you then realize that actually you are just somewhere catering to the need of the person, the need of the person to go through a certain experience for their learning and growth. You need to step out of it. So I'll give an example. So I'll give you a personal example which can maybe help you to understand that I hope you are not playing that role in other people's life and creating so much of emotional disturbance in your own environment. So I had this friend who basically had an experience of going through being undervalued and not being appreciated, which I discovered later. So when we used to create events and do events with the whole circle friends, it was very easy for me to appreciate others, and I used to kind of value my friends and appreciate. But she was the one whom I used to always leave out in my expression of appreciation. And then there used to be misunderstanding and lots of emotional drama. Till I realized that it was her need to go through it, and I was stepping into that role play of giving her that experience. And then with that awareness, I stepped out of it. Because when you're aware that you know that the person is maybe subconsciously playing that game and has the need to experience it, but you being aware can step out of it and reduce the emotional trauma in your life. Right. There was another friend who used to always feel like a victim and would make me to be the victimizer. And I know myself, I've never been like that with people, but with that person, it used to happen a lot. Till I realized that that person had the need to feel like a victim. And I was getting trapped into that drama. And then after a conversation and that awareness, I was able to pull myself out of it. So a lot of you, if you feel you're a particular way, and in some space of some people suddenly you become extremely different, then you need to realize it and step out of it. Because you need to know that you should not play consent to be a mirror to someone for their emotional needs, for their growth, and for their learning, because it's very, very tiring for you in your life. And you might not be even realizing that you're doing this. And a lot of people then feel that why is their life with so much of melodrama and like almost like a film. So the solution is that even if we have been learning through observing and playing a mirror to each other, it's time to work on yourself to discover who you truly are. Because sometimes you're so busy playing a mirror, you even forget who you truly are. Are you that angry person? Are you really that calm person? Are you that loving person? Or are you that person who doesn't appreciate anybody? You're so busy that you don't even realize who you truly are. So there is a technique with R5 where we keep peeling our beliefs and conditionings and our need to play a mirror to other people's experiences that can then help us find our true core and help us be that. And not only learn to accept every aspect of us so that we can be neutral and in acceptance of all that exists within us. And that helps you reduce the emotional and all the melodrama around you, because then there is no mirroring happening, because you've already understood yourself and worked on being neutral and in acceptance of yourself. So let us walk on the journey of discovering ourselves so that we can stop playing this mirror and liberate others from playing the mirror and liberate ourselves from playing the other one's mirror. This topic actually is a little heavy and a little complicated, so hear this a few times and try and actually observe what you're doing with your own self, what is triggering you in other people, and how you are getting embroiled into other people's drama when it is not really required. And this is important for a peaceful existence. So let us do some R5 statements. And well, thank you for the likes and the hearts. So let us close our eyes. And repeat with me. I R5 my need to learn through mirroring. I R5 my need to learn through mirroring. I R5 my need to learn through mirroring. I R5 my need to discover my true self through mirroring. I R5 my need to discover my true self through mirroring. I R5 my need to discover my true self through mirroring. I R5 my guilt of using others to discover more about myself. I R5 my guilt of using others to discover more about myself. I R5 my guilt of using others to discover more about myself. I R5 my regret of using others to discover more about myself. I R5 my need to I R5 my regret of using others to discover more about myself. I archive my need to mirror others for their emotional needs. I archive my need to be a mirror to others for their emotional needs. I archive my need to be a mirror to others for their emotional needs. I archive my need to be a mirror to others for their learning. I archive my need to be a mirror to others for their learning. I archive my need to be a mirror to others for their learning. I archive my need to be a mirror to others for their growth. I archive my need to be a mirror to others for their growth. I archive my need to be a mirror to others for their growth. I archive my need to rise beyond mirroring each other. I archive my need to rise beyond mirroring each other. I archive my need to rise beyond mirroring each other. And now we will do the affirmation. I rise beyond myself to learn about myself and others through mirroring. I rise beyond my need to learn about myself and others through mirroring. I rise beyond my need to learn about myself and others through mirroring. I rise beyond my need to learn about myself and others through mirroring.